Well, Taylor Swift is being sued, saying that she copied someone else's song. She asked for it to be thrown out. The lawsuit, and the judge said, nope, it can continue.
Wow.
Which is surprising because Ed Sheeran's won some of these recently, so we thought maybe the tide was turning. Here is what's under question. Here's the first song that's not Taylor Swift that people are saying she copied some of their words. That's the line in question. Players going to play, haters going to hate.
Okay.
You know, I'm very hard on crime. I don't see this one.
I don't either. And that's a saying.
Yeah. Totally is a saying. And they went in to say, like, ballers are going to ball. I can say roofers are going to roof. I mean, what the, you know what I mean? It's like, give me a break.
Cooker's going to cook. I know. I don't understand this one at all.
But they want the money. That's what they want.
Well, but it's shocking to me that a judge is allowing it.
Yeah, a judge had a chance to throw it out and said, no, it can continue.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason for it, maybe not. We do have our official attorney on, Lisa Lanier. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, this lawsuit has been up and down and all around in the court system for a long time, since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It actually was dismissed. So you're right. It's like, you have to, in order to have a successful copyright infringement lawsuit, you have to show that original elements of a song were copied, and you cannot do that where you're just talking about the usage and supposed copying of very common words. And Taylor Swift did a nice job when they originally filed the suit back in 2017. She filed a motion to dismiss, and she listed over a dozen songs where playa or hate or player or hate, some version of that were used. She quoted all these Sir Mix-a-Lot and Ice-T and all these people that have playa hate, man, you love to hate, hater players, don't hate the player. These are just very common pop music terms. And so the judge threw it out. And so then the plaintiff appealed it.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Right. So it went to the Court of Appeals. Court of Appeals said this is a jury question to decide whether or not these are common words. It was not for the judge to decide. And so they ordered it to go back down to the trial court. So then they went through discovery, and after the whole discovery process, they were getting close to the next step would be a trial. Taylor Swift's attorney filed a motion for summary judgment, which means, hey, you've looked at everything now, Judge, and now, tell us that it should be thrown out. And the judge denied that, and she filed a motion to reconsider that, and that's what was just ruled on. As the judge said, nope, it's going to have to go to the jury. I think because the judge got his or her hand slapped by the Court of Appeals and said, look, that's a jury question, so this judge is going to put it to the jury. The judge is not going to get it reversed again. So it's going to go to the jury, which is dangerous, I think, for Taylor Swift, because I'm not sure if lay people, who these are, you guys got it, because these are common words. Not everybody would get that. Some people might think it sounds the same, or because it's the exact same word that's used. Some people might mistake that, and I hope not, because I think these are common words. And the courts have said for a long time, they're basic common words, like time. The word time is in a lot of songs. It doesn't mean that you've infringed, say, Cyndi Lauper if you do a song that says time, or even if you say time and again, or time after time. Even though that was a big Cyndi Lauper
So
song.
if it goes to the jury and they don't get it, like you're saying, and they say, yeah, that sounds similar, does that mean that the lawsuit wins, or it actually now goes to a trial?
So it would go to the jury. It's going to go to the jury. So the jury's going to decide. So that's the trial and the jury decision. And then if Taylor Swift loses, I'm fairly certain that she'll appeal it, and I think she'll ultimately be successful. And the same week that this was happening, there was a similar infringement lawsuit going on where it was dismissed. You see it it was the next circuit over. You see it time and again in all these. There's not even a split about this among the circuits. It's clear you cannot copyright very basic words that can be used in any song.
So if she loses and she appeals, is it a whole new trial?
So if she loses, she appeals, no, then it would not be a whole new trial at that point. She would just win. If the Court of Appeals decided that it was wrong outcome after a jury trial. So the problem is in this first round, it never got to the jury. The judge just on the face of it, said, "Look, this is not a viable lawsuit," and so dismissed it outright from the 2017 filing.
Just seems like a big waste of everybody's time
And money.
and holding up the courts, and what a waste.
But potentially she could lose. I mean, so the judge, you're saying the judge was wrong for dismissing it, right?
Well, I think the judge was right, but what the Court of Appeals said was that the judge was acting sort of out of turn, that it wasn't for the judge to make that decision, that was a jury question. And what the Court of Appeals said was, look, the jury should decide if these are common words, or because what the judge had to decide is, are we talking about just everyday words here, or are we talking about a sequence of words that is creative and original that could be copyrighted? And the court said that should have been decided by a jury.
Got you. All right.
You know what's ironic, though? Taylor Swift has also tried to copyright basic words for songs, too.
What were
I forgot. It was something real popular that she did. But it was like Taylor Swift was doing the same thing. She was trying to copyright certain things. And I don't know if it ever went through that she tried to copy it, but it was like little sayings that were, to me, basically common, I believe. I don't know.
And now
well, the interesting thing that you can do as an artist is you can trademark. Trademark's very different, and you can trademark common words, whereas you cannot. And I think that might be what she
What's
did.
The difference?
Most artists who become known for a particular phrase or something will then trademark that, and so that can appear on those words can appear on their concert T-shirts and things like that, and they can go after somebody for infringing on that.
Like Shake It Off or something like that. She could put on her concert T-shirts.
She probably trademarked. Yeah, she probably trademarked Shake It Off.
Shake It Off is a Taylor Swift trademark.
Yep.
Okay. I've got the list. She's got like 48 different trademarks.
She's going for Swift Miss, blank space, and I'll write your name.
And
1989. I mean, it's crazy.
So if you say "Shake It Off" and it's on a T-shirt, nobody else is allowed to put "Shake It Off" on a T-shirt. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it sometimes is so specific that it has to be like in a certain font and stuff like that. But yeah, the general idea is that she's, that is a unique, that has become sort of a part of her persona, and it has. And I mean, so in that way, that is unique in the law of trademark. It's not unique in copyright.
Lisa, when Jason Goodman and I had an Amazon store selling light-up shoelaces and fidget spinners,
I remember that.
and the selfie light that Katie turned us on to, literally. But we had to go through that trademarking process, and I remember we were calling it Light It Up. And there's other Light It Up, but it was a different category, so we're okay.
So we were okay.
It was like a Light It Up, it was like an electrician.
Yeah.
And ours was shoelaces, so it was under clothing. So we could use the exact same, but we couldn't use the same font as what they used.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right.
But
Exactly. Trademark is visual. It's very specific. So like you said, trademark. It doesn't mean that no one else in the world is ever going to be able to use those words, but in the way, like you said, a different category. Like if it's Shake It Off is. I'm sure there are probably other people that have tried to trademark Shake It Off. I don't know what that might be for, but you can do that as long as it's not in the same industry.
Maybe for some cooking thing or something.
Well, and then you put it on the merchandise, and then you can only get that mererdance during her tour.
Right.
And then, so the rich just keep getting richer.
I know.
But there is a
That's how it goes.
chance. There's a chance that she'll get, full of jurors that are going to hate because they're haters. The haters
say
going to
that.
hate. She's going to have to shake
It's
it off. She's going to have to check it off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also, I think that does happen sometimes. Would you say, Lisa, even though they're supposed to go by the merits of the case, they're like, here's rich and powerful Taylor Swift, and here's this other group that really never made it. I think that plays
Or
a
what if
factor
they're
sometimes.
Swifties? And then
Yeah,
they're gonna go in favor of Taylor Swift and not the little person.
I think they're supposed to screen somebody. One side just screens the jury,
Supposed
right?
to.
What
The-
side?
both
What side
sides.
screens the jury? Both of
Yeah, well,
them.
both sides. Yeah, both sides, and for very flagrant people who are obviously not equipped to do it, the judge can actually strike as well, but that's pretty rare. Usually, it's the two attorneys who are for each side who are trying to strike or keep certain jurors. But that really doesn't necessarily ensure that you get an intelligent or a good jury. And trials are boring. I had a really long medical malpractice trial a few years ago, and one of the jurors Was an older gentleman. He sat on the back row every day and just slept. I mean, he just sometimes his head would roll back. His head would roll back. His mouth would hang open. I mean, he was just like. And the judge every once in a while would be like, "Hey, wake up, Mr. So-and-so," you know.
He's like, "I'm getting $12 a day for this."
I love jury duty, but mine was like kind of juicy.
Yeah, I want something juicy.
Yeah.
Not something that's boring. While we have you on the phone, Lisa, official attorney of Jared and Katie in the morning. There's a woman who got 4 months in prison for unruly, intimidating behavior on a diverted flight. We're seeing more and more people act unruly on flights. This is the first we're hearing someone going to prison. It seems unusual, but I guess, is it because she took it too far with actually...
What did she do?
She spit on somebody. They said she assaulted a passenger and used racial slurs. And then they had to divert them.
Yeah, she shoved the flight attendant. I mean, these two women, they were both doing it. I didn't read anywhere in the account what they had to drink, but that's usually, alcohol is usually a factor because these folks usually are, like their whatever, their inhibitions are loose and wild, and they're going, but they went off on another passenger in first class, and then a second passenger tried to intervene and come to that man's defense, and that's who they started calling racial slurs. They assaulted the first passenger that they didn't like, and then the flight attendant tried to intervene. They pushed and shoved him or her, and so finally it got so violent and so crazy that the pilots, they diverted the flight to Phoenix, which cost American Airlines almost $10,000. So these women were arrested. The co-defendant pled guilty. This woman, I think, fought it. And she was found guilty and sentenced, like you said, to 4 months in prison, then 3 years of supervised probation. And she has to pay back American Airlines the $9,000 and some odd dollars that it cost them to divert the flight. So you don't hear about people going to prison all that often, but you also don't hear, like a lot of times, if you get an unruly passenger, they'll get them to calm down, or they'll put them in the little zip tie handcuffs. And then they'll just, ride out the flight and pass out or whatever. But here, where they had to actually divert the flight, you think about all these upset passengers.
Oh, my gosh.
Fuel costs, all the personnel hours that they had to pay. So I think that's one of the reasons why it was sort of taken to a higher level with these people. The lady tried to claim that she suffered from multiple mental illnesses that made her do that. And they didn't buy it. Federal prosecutor was like, no, we got to make an example out of you.
Yeah. Because you're going to say it probably for anything. Anytime you do something bad, you're like, well,
It's a federal crime, though. I mean, so you got to be careful. You see
that's what I was going to ask. Is it more serious in the air? Like, if you were to get in a fist fight, like Jason and I in the parking lot, and I would definitely win. But in the fist fight in the parking lot is different than a fist fight in the air.
Oh yeah, or like a fist fight on a Greyhound bus versus on a
Greyhound bus is expected. I think comes with your ticket.
Right.
You get a couple you're allowed to punch two people.
It's the I guess not in flight, but on board entertainment.
Yeah, right. It's funny, Lisa. I know you didn't hear it, but I told a story the other day how I went from Idaho to here 3 days straight on a Greyhound bus, and I wanted to get beat up by the end of it. It was terrible. All right. As always, she's great. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the morning. If you're ever injured on the job, contact her right away. She does a lot more than that at hireaheavyweight.com.